This is my first shot at doing some picture-in-picture stuff. So this is an old Elgin pocket watch, and I repaired it and I fixed the bound staff, and I'm going to time it using Watch Escapement Analyzer and timer. So the microphone is actually picking up my voice here. So what I have here is a small microphone that's from an iPhone, like an iPhone headset, and I cut the earbuds off and I keep the microphone. So this little rig here allows me to rotate the watch without changing its position on top of the microphone. So I'm going to design some clamp that goes over the top of this, but for now this is the way it is. So what I do is I put this watch on top or inside these little rubber bands to hold it in place, and I have two of them here in case one of them breaks. I don't want this watch to fly off. So this is an old Elgin pocket watch from 1890. So as you can see on the screen, it's starting to pick up the signal nicely, and the sound of my voice is not kind of disturbing it too much. So over here in the software, if I hit clean here, clear, I can erase the pulses there, the beats. That it tracks the beats. As you can see, there's one set of beats on this side and another set on this side. And this watch has a really bad beat error. Right now it's running at 5.2 or 4.2 or 3.5 seconds per day and an amplitude of 256. So actually this is really good. I've already regulated this before, and this is excellent in this position, no issue at all, except the beat error is like really bad, which means I've got to take that hairspring and just move it left or right. They call it just to align the jewel from the balance. The actual balance roller impulse jewel needs to be aligned with the pallet fork completely. So I have zero beat errors. As anything under 1 millisecond beat error is pretty good. Anyway, so that's as you can see, it's still running positive and the ticks are pretty far apart. So I've got an issue there. So the first thing I'm going to do is see if I can center this thing, see if auto centering works on it. Not sure if it'll work. Yeah, it's kind of moving it over a bit. And there is the various beats you have for the watch as it goes through. The escapement actually goes left or goes around, and the balance staff and the impulse jewel go in and out of the pallet fork. There's all kinds of material on how to analyze these signals, but what I want to do is measure this watch in 5 positions. So the first thing we're going to do here with this program is, I've already done most of the settings, but I can select this program here and say average it in all 5 positions. So I'll start running it. I'm going to have to stop talking as soon as I hit the first position. So now when I hit run, it's going to check out the amplitude, the rate, and the beat error in the first position. Okay, it's stopped, and it says please place watch in position 2 of 5 PU, which is pennant up. So, and that's selectable. You can actually tell it what text to put there. So what I do is I rotate the watch now, so the mic is in position. So the watch is rotated, and I hit run again. Now it's stopped again. And just a note here, I set this for 18,000 beats per hour and a lift angle of 52, which is pretty common. And the averaging time is 8 seconds for this. So I'm not sure whether it does Fourier transforms or Laplace for any of you math people out there. Then I'm going to run this again for the 3rd position, but I've got to put it dial down like so. Now the dial's down. got stopped, so now it wants the fourth position, which is pin it down. So I'm going to rotate this again, and it's kind of, it's upside down. Just let it stabilize for a second there before I hit the go button here, the run button. Alright, it's stopped. Now the final position is actually with the pennant to the left or the right, depending on what you choose. So in this case it's pennant left, so I just rotate the watch around like so, and then I'll just put the watch over a bit like this, and then rotate it pennant down, or pennant left, like so. I only have one rubber band on it, so it better not come off. And hit run again. Alright, let me cancel this here. Wanted me to annotate the positions here for the file. So that's the final report here. The last signal wasn't too good because I had the rubber band kind of on top of the microphone here, which probably wasn't a good plan. So that's done now, and as you can see, the position, rate, amplitude, and the beat error are all logged down, and you get the deltas, which is kind of the swing from amplitude of plus 53 seconds per day from the highest plus to the lowest at minus 11. So that gives you that, and then you get the swing on the rate and the swing on the seconds per day and the amplitude swing as well. So the means here are 14 seconds per day, which is pretty good. The beat error is 8.55, which is really bad, which means I've got to take that bounce cock out and then take out the bounce and the hairspring. I got to move that hairspring and align it properly so that when the bounce is in kind of the null position, the impulse jewel is aligned perfectly with the pallet fork when it's between the banking pins. So that's what I've got to do there to fix that problem. It's not too difficult a problem to fix. Now if I wanted to run a report for this, I would hit File, and then you can choose the log files, because it takes log files. There's viewer settings, there's all kinds of stuff. You can actually choose a waveform file and read it from there, but if I want to print here, I can print this to PDF, right? So when I hit print to PDF, it creates a PDF file. I'll just hit this Elgin CL thing here for the heck of it. Say you want to replace it, yes. And now if I'm going to go in, I'll hit run while I'm waiting here just so you can see this thing running. And I'm going to go grab that file. Let me center that again. I'm going to grab that file from the files and see what I got. Right? Just bear with me for a second. Hopefully this caught the right file. Yeah, there it is. So let me just move that over a bit. And so this is printed out perfectly. Move that into the position. So I just have this right over the software itself. So this is not the software, this is a PDF file. As you can see, elgin.cl.pdf. So I just chose a file name. So it captures the result at the end, right? And so I get an actual printout of the performance of this watch. And if I'm servicing someone's watch, I can actually show them the printout after to prove that this thing is in good shape. I'd have to, of course, fix the beat error and make this thing run just a little bit better. It's a 1890 pocket watch though, so I'm not doing too bad. And the other thing, so I can erase this again here, and I can also erase a log file if I don't want it to log anymore. And I think that, let me see if I can produce this. Yeah, so if I were to, let me see, shrink this down to size, this will also capture over time. It's a log viewer, so it's capturing everything that's being logged over time for this particular watch as it's being logged. So as you can see, there's a signal here, and you can look at the overall amplitude over time and the beat errors. And this is a bunch of watches that I've done. So what you do is you erase the log file, start from the beginning, and then it'll capture all the log file. And the trick here is that you take this, you take a watch and you leave it in there for the night, and as you run it for like 24 hours or whatever, it's gonna capture all of this information to allow you to determine how well it's doing. As you can see up here, it says long-term performance, so you can look at this watch over a very long period of time and determine whether you've repaired it correctly, or whether it's the escapement is working or the watch is working correctly, or if there's any problems. So that's the log file viewer, which is kind of cool. And then if you go to settings, there's all kinds of different settings you can make on this program. I just got this program, so I'm definitely not an expert on it, and got some picture-in-picture happening here. So down here you can see all of the sampling rate and the microphone that you're going to use for the audio input for this thing. This is the USB setup I have with the little iPhone headphones. And then you can set things like the escapement, the muting on this thing here, which is a maximum altitude, and the ticks, how many ticks it's going to mute. And you can look at positional timing, and here's where you write in actually whether it's pen it up, like I've got dial up, pen it up, dial down, pen it down, and dial up. So I just put it in the same sort of, when I move this, it's kind of the same sequence over here, so it just tells me to do the right thing. And it's averaging over 8 seconds. I put the basic setting of the train at 18,000. It says vibrations per hour, but I usually use beats per hour or whatever. So, and lift angle of 3, unlock threshold of 3%. That's when it's just capturing that wave, and you're shrinking that unlock. So if you're looking at this here, and I just took this line here and I moved it up like that, that's the unlock threshold there. And so that's just capturing this waveform here. It's trying to capture the frequency of that waveform as it comes through, or the amplitude actually of the waveform. And so it's set typically at 3%, which works really well. So I don't know if it's necessary to set that. Down here there's all kinds of different stuff, different specific information. So that's all I got for now on that. You can also change all the colors of various things and zoom into waveforms and do some pretty cool stuff on this. But this is a very, very good watch signal or escapement analyzer, and you can analyze that signal and determine what's going on. I also recommend, before I shut this one down, is that I've got this book here that's pretty cool, and it is called Mechanical Testing Methods Operating on the Whatever. And the beauty behind this book, let me just do this right here instead, is that it's got sections on it on the waveform, and you can look that waveform up. In this case here, you can say the escapement is fitting too weak, the escapement is fitting too strong, the unlocking is too strong, and you look at the signal. So it's got some diagnostics of different waveform and different problems. Dart is touching the roller in this situation, and there's additional friction going on here, and there's diagrams. So this is a pretty good resource. I think you might be able to find other books that describe this and describe the waveform. But this is the WITSCHI, however you pronounce that, WITSCHI, and it's for their particular hardware device, right? But it's this you can use. I printed this out so I can use it as a just basic reference for assessing the waveform itself. So that's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching this video. I know I put another one on there like this, but it wasn't picture-in-picture, so I think this might be a bit better. So again, thanks a lot for watching the video, and stay tuned. I've probably got more right around the corner.